Well, the biggest thing is resiliency. I mean, this nation has for a long time was by itself. And only up until recently, the partners of Europe and the United States are surrounding Ukraine. Ukraine reminds me of Great Britain at the beginning of World War II, when all they had was their British Air Force fighting by themselves. And Winston Churchill made a very famous speech, and I just gave a little bit of it just a moment ago, when he said, "Never give up, never give up, never give up." And that's the heart that I see here. There's no demoralizing of the Ukrainian people. No, they're stronger than ever. This prayer breath has proved that even there were, 1,000 of leaders, religious leaders from all over the world assembled right here in Kyiv, Ukraine, to understand that our common ground is a belief in God, and that we will use our faith to rise up, even where our eyes and our hearts may be saddened for what we see, because soldiers are still dying. People are still on the front lines. We still don't have a ceasefire, but I believe that's coming very soon. So the message and the spirit that I see here is resilience, power, faith. This nation is not sad or defeated. They're stronger and ready to bring peace, and they're prepared to do whatever it takes to bring peace. Well, I could tell you how it was when I wasn't supporting Ukraine. I've been very clear on the record for about 3 years. Like a lot of MAGA Trump Republicans, we were against supporting Ukraine because of the false narrative that was poured into us. Like, for instance, the number one thing was that Ukrainians are neo-Nazis. Ukrainians are racist. Ukrainians do not have religious freedoms. All of that is a lie. It took me coming to Kyiv, Ukraine, and Bucha, and seeing the devastation of the Russian Federation and what they're doing against innocent people, and the execution style, the inhumane of the involved soldiers right now. And that's a message that we got to declare, that the involved soldiers are not terrorists as the Russians have declared them. They are combatants, and so they should be treated as such by the Geneva Convention. But many of them right now are being held in horrible conditions in Russia that should be compared, should and will be visited as war crimes. And so, the point of it is the propaganda that was fed to us, conservatives, turned to be a lie. This is a beautiful nation. They're not racist. They have religious freedom. We was just here with Muslims and Hindus and Christians and Baptists and Orthodox all together, and Jewish communities all together, celebrating and declaring Slava Ukraini as one people, because they are Ukrainians. Glory to their country, glory to their homeland, their motherland. And so these are lies. And the Russian Federation has spent a lot of money in pushing this propaganda onto conservatives like myself. Well, again, this is where our faiths kick in. Ukrainians are very, very faith people. This is where our faith must kick in. We have to believe, even though we can't see it, even though we may not receive the news that we want to receive. Just know the fact that I'm here and General Kellogg is here, and how we are, and President Trump, as you can see, actively trying to bring an end to this war. The Ukrainian people are not alone. We, as President Trump already stated, if Vladimir Putin do not come to the table, we will arm Ukraine to the teeth. We will make sure that Ukraine owns the sky. We will make sure that Ukraine can continue to take the war to Moscow. That's not what we want. We want peace. President Trump hates war, but he loves peace. And he will declare peace through strength. And if Vladimir Putin continues to attack the Ukrainian people, even though NATO has came to the defense of Ukraine, you just witnessed the historical meeting that only President Trump could have done by bringing in the NATO leaders to the Oval Office. And what your president, who I was just sitting beside, your President Zelensky, and how only President Trump could bring these world leaders together in a short notice. For what? To discuss defending Ukraine, making sure that Ukraine has what it needs. And if Vladimir Putin continues to bomb, if Vladimir Putin continues to attack, we will have to unleash the full might of our European friends at the United States military. And nobody wants that, because more people will die before there's peace. But if that happens, It will only be because the blood will be on Vladimir Putin's hands and not President Trump's hands.